Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we got a Beckett reveal. Got 13 cards. These were all Elias Pettersson PC cards that I sent to them. Hopefully you guys like this new backdrop thing I did. I think it looks pretty cool. I kind of stole the idea from some comic book channels that I watch on YouTube that always have all their comics on like these cool wall displays. I just think it looks sick. So got inspiration from that. As far as this order goes, I was not too happy with the whole process dealing with Beckett. First off, they received my cards on July 7th, and I think this service level was the $50 one, and it had a 10 to 15 business day advertisement on it. And I just got them back today on Monday, the 15th of August. So that was, I think by my math, that's like 27 business days. So it took them almost 3 times as long as their advertised turnaround time. It might have even taken them longer, to be honest, because I ended up just like calling them out on my Instagram stories, and I guess it got to Beckett because I tagged them in it or whatever, and they graded my cards that same day. So if I never called them out, who knows, maybe it'd be another couple weeks or whatever. And normally I would not have a problem with it taking a bit longer, except that the way Beckett does it is they bill you right when you get your cards, or when they get your cards. So on July 7th, they billed my credit card like $1,000 or whatever. And then now I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to take my money up front, then you better get the job done like when you said you're going to get it done. I mean, that's just obvious. Like, if you're going to take the invoice, then get the job done. So I've had PSA orders take a while. I've had Beckett orders that were there for a while. I've never once complained because there's nothing to complain about. But if you're going to take the money, then you better get the job done and not be sitting on your ass doing whatever they were doing. So clearly they were capable of grading it, because as soon as I called them out on Instagram, they graded it the same day. So I have no idea what was going on there, but yeah, not a very good situation. The other thing is I sent them like 3 emails and they completely ghosted me, didn't respond to one email. They also messaged me on Instagram and said, oh, we're going to email you today, blah, 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 we're so sorry. And they also didn't email me. And then I responded to them again and they didn't respond. So yeah, Beckett is, they're just kind of way behind when it comes to any type of customer service or anything. But yeah, and as far as the actual grading, I think I got brutal grading on these cards. I'll show some examples of the cards that I think got graded poorly. Here's the first card, SB Game Used True Rookie of Pettersson. This card actually looks quite nice with that silver label, kind of matches the aesthetics of the card. But yeah, they gave this a 9, which is kind of what I thought. I thought this card would have a small shot at a 9.5. One common theme with this order is they just hammered surface, like way harsher than they should have. So this got an 8.5. When I had it snapped out, I didn't really see any problems. Now I see some little like white spots up there, so maybe that's how it got that grade. But yeah, anyways, 9, that was fine for that card. Certain cards in here, like that one used to be a PSA 9, and I just sent it like thinking maybe it has a chance at a 9.5 or whatever. This one, Emerald Surge. So again, the surface was just getting hammered for no reason, and they gave this card 8.5 surface. This card, it literally had the best OPG Platinum surface I'd ever seen when I had it raw, and I've handled a lot of these cards. Yeah, like the only way this card wouldn't get gem in my estimation was the centering being off from top to bottom. So I thought maybe Beckett would give that 8.5, but they gave it 9. So this card absolutely should be gem, and even the other parts of the card, like corners, they gave a 9. Like, these are razor sharp corners, like nothing wrong with them at all. So yeah, the subgrid just got hammered there for no real reason. If you told me this card would have got a 9 centering, I would have been pretty much guaranteed that it would have came back a 9.5. But I think they either started grading harshly, or maybe just me calling them out on social media just made them salty or something. But there was some kind of suspiciously low grades in this order, and I have some like evidence for like why they're suspicious. This card, for example, used to be graded by Beckett, and yeah, it used to be a 9.5. Surface used to be a 10. So this is what I mean when the guy's hammering surface. He's giving a surface that a different grader deemed pristine. He's giving it mint, an entire full grade down. So that just kind of shows, like, if I'm going to get this subgrade on this card, then all the surfaces were screwed. Like, I had no chance of getting a proper grade on any of them. So extremely annoying. If they want to start grading hard all of a sudden, that's fine if they want to like let people know that, but I'm just going to assume that they grade the same standards they've always graded, and apparently they don't. or this individual grader just had no idea like what the standards that they had, or I don't even know if they have standards, to be honest, because yeah, I think 3 of these cards were previously with Beckett, and 50% of the subgrades changed this time around, and all of them were graded lower, and 2 out of the 3 autographs went from a 10 auto to a 9 auto. So clearly they have no ability to grade a card the same grade twice when they see it. Like 50% rate is a joke. Think about if I like was paying some company to estimate my house value or something, because that's what grading is. It's not a science, right? They're making an estimate of what the technical grade is. So, but let's say I paid for a house thing and they said, okay, your house is worth $1 million. And then I sent them the exact same house, 3 months later, and pretend the market's the same or whatever. And now they're like, oh yeah, your house is worth 500K. Like, that's what 50% accuracy would look like. No one would use that company because they clearly have no idea what they're doing, and they're just pulling numbers out of their ass if they're going to be that much of a disparity. So yeah, the fact that they can't even get close to the same grade. I mean, this got a 9.5 with only one. Sorry, it got a 9.5 the first time, and then this time around it's not even close to a 9.5 because it would have needed 2 more 9.5 subgrades. So yeah, again, like edges getting a 9, there's just literally nothing wrong with these edges. Sorry, I've seen cards with like 8.5 edges that are just like chipped along the entire border of the card, and this one just might as well be pristine. There's really nothing wrong with it. So yeah, that is wasn't good. When I saw that card got that grade, I knew it was kind of screwed. Here's my Golden Treasures 1 of 1 Pettersson. This card I thought this would probably get a 9 because of centering. I thought it would get an 8.5 centering, which it did. But I thought maybe it gets a 9 centering, and then the other grades should have been 9.5s. But like we just mentioned, they were just giving everything lower grade than what it deserved. So this grader would have never given this a 9.5, but a previous Beckett grader, if this got 9 centering, it might have had a chance at a 9.5. And that would have looked really cool, I think, with the gold in a gold label. So took a shot at it. Did not work out. Okay, here's the only 9.5 of the order. Now, I want you to focus on this autograph of this card first off, before we look at the subgrades. But yeah, you can see, like, not a perfect auto. Definitely not. Not the worst auto I've seen on Pettersson on these seismic golds. For some reason, I guess the texture of the surface of these like doesn't work well with the auto, so they kind of are a bit weak and streaky looking. But yeah, to me, this is like not great. I would give that a 9, I think. Beckett, they're sometimes pretty easy on autos. Sometimes you'll see a 10 auto on a card that really doesn't deserve it. I thought this would be a 9. Maybe they give it a 10. They gave this an 8 auto. And of course, it's the only card in the whole order that got a 9.5. So they just had to butcher the auto just out of spite, or either out of spite or they just have no clue what their standards are, because I'll show you what BGS 8 autos look like. And you can compare it to this auto. It's laughable to put them in the same technical grade. I'm talking cards that literally are faded where you can't even see the auto, that have gotten 8 subgrades. Stuff where it looks like it's been sitting, in the sun for like 20 years will get an 8 auto. I saw another card that had a 10 auto, and the entire autograph was streaked. Like, I could show you that one too. So yeah, this is not graded accurately. The actual grade of 9.5 is like, sure. I sent this one to PSA back in the day and thought it was deserved a 10, and they gave it a 9. So I figured it would be a good chance at getting a 9.5. The fact that this grader gave it a 9.5, I mean, who knows? This might have been like a BGS 10 if someone else graded it, because this guy was so harsh on everything. So the fact that he gave it a 9.5, yeah, maybe this is like a black label contender. But yeah, I'll probably just send it back to PSA. I might have kept it if they gave the 9 auto like it deserved, but an 8, sorry, that's just a joke of a grade there. So it was too funny because I saw like that's the only card that got the 9.5, and then I opened up the pop report and saw the auto grade, and I was like, oh, of course they're gonna just give it an 8 auto for like no reason. Here's like one of my favorite cards, and they butchered this one as well. Yeah, this is just nowhere close to the technical condition of this card, the grade they assigned it. And that's not just my opinion, that's also Beckett's opinion, because I sent this to Beckett once, and the first time around, the edges were 9.5, the corners were 9.5, centering was 9.5, and the surface was 8.5. So now magically 75% of the grades are worse. Like, again, they just have no accuracy at all, apparently. And yeah, the problems with this card is this surface on this part of the Future Watch, which was like that from when I pulled it. And, you know, it looks like, okay, well, that's not great, but I can tell you there's 9.5s of this card that have very similar pattern on the Future Watch. And there's a PSA 10 that just looked worse than this to me. So I thought, you know, this easily would have had a chance at a like Surface 9 where it gets a Min Gem 9.5 or whatever. I mean, but obviously this grader was never going to give it that because, yeah, they were just lowballing every single grade that they could. But if it was graded accurately, I think this would have had a very good chance at a 9.5. It was 0.5 away the first time I sent it to Beckett. Then I sent it to PSA, it got a 9. I think 9 is the fair grade for this, but it's like a fringy one where it can maybe get given a 10 or a 9.5 by the right person. So yeah, I'm going to send it back to PSA with the dual service and try and get it with the PSA 9 with the 10 auto, which would be nice for it. But yeah, 8.5, I mean, that's just a joke. Just absolute joke of a grade there. Next up, this one's probably graded accurately. We got the Ultimate BGS 9 10 auto. This one 0.5 away. Got no problem with this grade. This is probably like the only card in the order where I just agree with every subgrade on it, really. Like corners 9 and edges 9. The back of it's like dark green border, so it's going to be hard to have 9.5 edges with that. And the corners are like, they're good, but yeah, they're not like 100% perfect. Like the fact that this corner gets the same grade as the OPG Platinum corners that are just like razor sharp. And these ones have like white on them and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I really feel like Beckett just doesn't know what they're doing. I saw some examples too. Like there was the Ziri Gaming reveal where he had the OPG Platinum purple auto from McDavid, and the edges on that card were just brutal. It was like major problems that you could see, and they gave the edges a 9.5. I remember seeing that thinking, what the hell were they looking at when they graded that? So yeah, I think Beckett, I don't know what they're doing. I know like their top grader went to CESG or whatever, so they probably just have some newbies who are just not following standards, or they just have poorly written like standards, like they didn't train the people correctly, so they're just kind of winging it when they look at cards and not being accurate. This is the same card. This one got a 9 with worse subgrades. Thought these cards looked kind of similar. Thought maybe one of them looks slightly worse than the other, so I thought maybe one gets like a 9.5 and the other gets a 9, but it's almost what happened. They end up just giving them both 9s. Fair enough. Here's another OPG Platinum. Again, 9 auto on this one. I think it's fair because it's like a little bit of streaking there, kind of similar to the gold auto, but looks kind of the exact same, but yeah, 9 whatever. The actual grade of a 9, I mean, again, they give this 8.5 surface. There's not a print line on this card anywhere. There's not a scratch on this card, so again, just hammering surface, kind of bizarre. So this one will go to PSA. It was a PSA 9 before. I thought it could maybe get a PSA 10, so we'll try it again next time. Here's one that I think was definitely undergraded. They went with the 9 auto. This auto actually doesn't appear to have anything wrong with it. I mean, that to me should just be a 10, but whatever. 9's, you know, whatever. I'm not that mad about that, but yeah, they gave this 0.5 away from Gem Mint. And fun fact, this is the only time. So I sent the other orange checkers that we just saw that got a 9. That used to be a 9.5. This one, every copy they've ever graded this card has been a 9.5. So I must have magically sent them the worst copy out of 25. I mean, this is a card, if someone pulled this, it's going straight into a sleeve. There's only 15 copies. It's a case hit of OPG Platinum. So this is not the sort of card that's going to have scratches on it or something, because anyone who pulls this card is going to take care of it. So realistically, they're just all going to be in the same condition, unless there would be like a print line or one of the manufacturing errors, which there isn't on this card. And also like 9 centering, like look at this card centering. You can't even, it's not a card that looks off center at all. Like if with the naked eye, it's hard to tell if this isn't 50-50 centered. I did measure it online. I think it was 52-48 on one of the directions and 53-47 on the other direction. So that is a very strongly centered card in my opinion, but according to Beckett's own standards, they won't give a card 9.5 centering if one side of it isn't 50-50 centered, which I think is a terrible way to grade a card, because you could have 51-49 in both directions, which is almost like what this is, where it just looks perfect, and technically that would get a 9 centering, which is just really bad. Whereas you could have 50-50 say 50-50 top to bottom, and then right to left can be 60-40, and they'll give it a 9.5. Or maybe it was 55-45. But yeah, either way, I just think that's a bad way to grade centering, but that is the way they do it apparently. Again, 9 surface, there's not a single print line, not a single scratch, so this is just blatantly should have been a 9.5. All right, let me get on to the cup cards. These kind of got graded fairly, but there was a few things I'd take issue with. This one got an 8.5, 10 auto, which is fine. I kind of thought it was either an 8.5 or a BGS 9. It had really no chance at anything higher than that or lower in my opinion. But yeah, the big problem with this card, or the only real obvious flaw, was bad corners. So a little bit of white there, a bit of white in basically all the corners, I think. So yeah, I was thinking it'd be either an 8 or an 8.5 for corner subgrades, and that should have determined the grade. Basically, if it got 8.5, this card should have got a BGS 9, and if the corners got 8, the card should have got an 8.5. But they gave corners 8.5, and then they just, again, hammered surface for no reason. Like, they gave this card 8.5 surface. Not a scratch, not a dimple, nothing wrong with the surface, but they're just taking, 2-3 grades off of it. So very, very frustrating, because yeah, this should be a BGS 9 if it was graded accurately. So really nice card, though. I'm going to just put those with PSA. I'm a little bit scared to grade this with PSA, to be honest, because I know they just randomly hammer thick cards. Like, they might give this a 6 or something, which would be unfortunate. But yeah, I think PSA probably give it a PSA 8, maybe a PSA 7. And yeah, I would take a PSA 7 over a BGS 8.5. All right, another one of the cards that used to be graded by them. And again, same theme, multiple subgrades are changing this time. So first off, 10 auto is now a 9 auto. So again, Beckett doesn't know how to grade stuff consistently. 9 edges was 9 previously. The centering used to be a 10. So if you look at this card, it looks like a perfectly centered card. The right to left is just definitely 50-50. And top to bottom, I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell because there's no obvious way to measure it. But previous grader gave it a 10. Fun fact of this grader, there was not a single 10 awarded on any subgrade, which is kind of impossible. Like, when you send them 13 modern pack fresh cards to not get a single 10 subgrade, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous, but just shows how harsh these got graded. So yeah, it lost, I think it had 2 10 subgrades on it. I'm trying to remember. I think it was surface 10, centering 10, and then 9 and 9 on the 2 edges, or maybe just centering 10. It was 0.5 away, and it's also 0.5 away this time, but the auto grade, though, is just a joke. Like, how is this a 9 autograph? Someone's gonna have to tell me. Is it because of that, where the auto touches the foil, except it still completes the loop, and it's like, 5% of the autograph or whatever? Like, the majority of the auto is just perfectly centered. Yeah, I mean, they graded it a 10 before, so clearly Beckett does agree that it's a 10. Just whoever graded it this time, just surface and autograph, they just completely hammered me with it. And then this card, this card I think got graded fairly. Thick card with black bordered edges, had some obvious like corner wear and stuff like that, so thought this would definitely be an 8.5, and that's what it got. So no real complaint with this one, but they gave this a 10 auto, and you can see this auto, to me, this is worse than the Exquisite easily, because it kind of runs off the card similar, like it goes into a different part of the card, which is kind of a design flaw of these. I don't know why they made such a small area for the autographs. And the texture up here, like, it can't really hold the pen, because every time I've seen one where the pen goes off it, it kind of like fades. So you can see that flaw on it. And they gave that a 10, so if they're giving that a 10, I don't understand how this is a 9. So yeah, a lot of just randomness. Feels like they're just kind of pulling subgrades out of their ass. And I've kind of seen that on some other recent BGS reveals. So I don't think they were doing it just out of spite of me. I just think they just kind of don't know what they're doing in general. So that'll be the last time I use Beckett. I'm probably going to snap every single card there. So just big L, like, in terms of the money I spent on that, just pretty much flushed it down the toilet. So yeah, not the greatest reveal there, but I'm going to send all those cards off to PSA, so I'll have some future reveal videos. Got some other really nice cards. I'll show a few of them, actually. Got this one, for example. That's going to go to PSA with some of the cards. So I'll have some really some good grading videos in the coming probably in like a month or two on the channel. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys, and catch you next time.